You're with Dion at HDpiano, and this is It Must Be Love by Madness. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the verse. And then we'd head into the pre-chorus. That's going to be in the following section of this tutorial. But in this part one, just going to be looking at the intro and that first verse of the song. It's a really fun song to play. It's a very manic song. It changes a lot as it goes through from all the various parts. And this part is different to all the other parts of the song because it is swung. We have this groove that has that kind of bouncing lilt to it. You can hear that really clearly in the left-hand part. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. As opposed to something which is straight, which would be ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. This is swung, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. So that's the groove we have underpinning this first section. Keep that in mind.
Hey, Dan here. Sorry to interrupt your lesson. If you're seeing this in the year 2021, I wanted to remind you to enter our HDpiano giveaway by posting a video to social media. The prize is a brand new, full-size, weighted keyboard for free. In your video, tell us what a new piano would mean to you. Make sure to include the words HDpiano giveaway. We pick a new winner every week. You can visit this link to sign up for announcements or to register an entry by the end of the night on Saturday in the US. Yeah, sorry, this is a US-only contest. Ages 13 and up, no purchase necessary. We'd love to give you a new keyboard. All right, back to your lesson.
Now, I'm going to show you the right-hand part here first because this is the easiest part to learn. Let's start off with an easy win, shall we? So, middle C here, we're jumping up an octave and playing C, E, and A all together. This is an A minor chord in first inversion. And we're going to be hitting this 4 times in a row. And each one of those hits is nice and short and bouncy. You might also know that as staccato. So when you're playing staccato, you kind of want a nice loose wrist so everything can kind of bounce freely. If you're finding yourself really stiff and kind of tense, it's going to be much harder to get that nice bouncy staccato feeling. So we hit 4 times on the A minor chord, and then we're going to change the top note, the A, up to a B. Back to the original, and then up to the B. So that's our intro with the right hand. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And up, back down, up we go. Beautiful work. The left-hand part starts on A, just below middle C. You can put your thumb on A because we're heading down from there. We don't go any higher than an A in that left hand. So we start on A, and then we walk our way down to E via G. So we hit 3 on the A, and then G, E. That's 3 on the E, and then back up to A through that G. Starting to add a bit more swing into it now. Now that left-hand part is a little less steady than the right-hand part. Right-hand part's playing on every beat, whereas the left-hand part is playing in between the beats. So we have something called syncopation, where the two hands or the left-hand part is kind of offbeat. So coordination-wise, we end up with both hands starting at the same time, then the right hand by itself, then the left hand by itself, then the right hand by itself, then the left hand, then the right hand, then the left hand, before we join back up again. So they're together at the start of the bar, and then they take turns for the rest of the bar. I'll show you that nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it again. So there we go. That's the intro. I went through it twice then, which is kind of apt because the first half of the first verse is basically the intro again. So we've kind of just run through there the intro into the first half of the verse, and I was being sneaky. There is one change though in the first verse as we get towards the end of that section, which is as we've come down to our final E, rather than walking back up, we're going to start on E and then jump up to A, then back down to E, bum, 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 and then land on G at the start of the next bar. We're going to have some new chords in the right hand to match that up. So I'll show you that little change from an A minor, 2, 3, 4. That's our variation in the middle of the verse. We'll put that all together shortly, so you'll see how it sounds in context. But for the moment, just practice that little variation in the left hand. So we've landed here on G. The right hand is going to play a G major chord. This is also in first inversion, which means we have B at the bottom, D in the middle, and G at the top. So we're going to bounce back and forth in the right hand from this G chord to a C chord. C, E, and G. And drop the bottom two notes again, back down to the G chord. So we're alternating from the G chord to the C chord to the G chord. And then we're going to finish off our first repeat of the verse by dropping our inversion of this G major chord down to root position. So now we have G, B, and D. We're going to hit that 4 times before shifting up every note a semitone or a half step up to G sharp major. So now we have G sharp, B sharp or C, and D sharp. So 4 on the G and then 1 on the G sharp. That's going to then send us back to the start of the verse again. It's a little kind of, I guess, a little fill at the end of the verse to get us from first half of the verse to the second half of the verse. So 4 on the G, 4 on the C, 4 on the G, and then the 4 on the lower, step it up, and then we're back up. I did play it through quite quickly then. I'll do it slower for you with some counting in just a moment. But first I want to add in the left hand. So the left hand part underneath this section here starts on G, and then we do a little back and forth between D and E and D. So 2 on the G, and then the D, E, D. Just like this. 2, 3, 4. It's a pretty kind of groovy, funky part there. I don't know if funky is the right word, but it's groovy, absolutely groovy. And as we hit the 3 or the 4 chords on that G, we're just going to mirror that in the left by playing 4 on G by itself, and then as we move up to the G sharp, so does the left hand. So let's put all that together nice and slow with our new left hand underneath our new chords. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I made a little, sketchy part in there. I wasn't quite committed to my part on my 4, 3, 4. And if you're like me, maybe your 4th finger on your left hand is your most underused finger and you don't like using it. This is a great song for practicing using all of your fingers, even the ones that you try to avoid. So let's try that again, a little more committed this time. 2, 3, 4. Alright, now as always, please use the speed controls and the looping controls for sections like that to slow them down and to be able to practice them in their own small chunks. We're going to go from the start of the verse through to that point, and then we're going to kick on into the rest of the verse before I show you how it ends. So here we go, nice and slow from the start of the verse. 2, 3, 4. Remember, we have the different left-hand part here, and change. And off we are again. Alright, so that's the ending of the verse. I haven't shown you that yet. Now this is the same principle as the ending of the first half of the verse. We did the 4 on the G and then stepped it up. This time we're going to do 4 on C. This is the C major chord that we were just kind of playing up here. So the left hand's going to have to drop down to C. And then our final chord is a D major chord. But we're going to drop right down rather than just moving up to here, which would be easy. This song has some moments that could be made easier, but are not. So instead of moving up to D in the right hand, we're moving down to D, and we're moving down by 2 inversions, which means we're going to be playing F sharp, A, and D. So a bit of a jump there. Sounds like this. 2, 3, 4. We jump down. Now from a music theory point of view, rhythmically, those 4 hits either on the G or the C are a rhythm device called a triplet. And if you know about triplets, then you know. If you don't, they're a little hard to explain, but essentially you're playing 3 notes in the space of time that you would ordinarily play 2. So if your rhythm is normally like this, and you're playing a triplet, for every 2 of those, I have to play 3 of something else, like just like that. So that rhythm, bum, 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 is called a triplet. So you'll hear those a lot through this song. That's a bit of a primer. If you can't quite work out how to count them, don't worry. Not many people can, but if you know how it sounds, that's the best way to play. Just go on how it should sound. All right, so we're going to do 2 more playthroughs of the intro and the verse, once at the speed we're going there, and then once more at the full speed of the song. It's a little bit faster. So here we go from the start of the intro. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the verse. So that's the playthrough of the intro and the verse. Now, full speed of this song is 146 beats per minute, which seems like a lot to ramp your metronome up to, but I've kind of fooled you a little bit because that playthrough this then was actually almost at full speed. So let's do it one more time, this time at 146, see if you can keep up with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's that. Great job so far on learning through part 1. If you're on HDpiano, just click on the next lesson to continue. And if you're on YouTube, head over to HDpiano.com for the rest of the song. Do you have a request? Well, visit requests.hdpiano.com and follow us on your favorite socials at HDpiano. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and give us feedback in the comments. My name is Dion, and you're at HDpiano, the home of the hybrid piano lesson.